6.1, we're going to be talking about the power rule for exponents, and this is what it looks like. It's when you have an exponent raised to a power. And let's derive what the rule is here. This is telling me I have two factors of what's inside here, right? So that means we take this and we write y to the cube times y to the cube. That means we had two of these. Now, if we factor these down some more, this tells us that we have three y's. 1, 2, 3. Three factors of y's. That one says we have three factors of y. 1, 2, 3. So if we took this and rewrote this as a combined exponent, it would just be y to the 6th. Now, if we look back up here, what we're really doing is we're just multiplying. When you have a power raised to a power here, we're just multiplying the 3 times 2. So this would just be y. 3 times 2 is what would get us down here to the y6. Now over here, let's write it out again. We have 2y, 2y, 2y. This is multiplication. So remember, when we have the multiplication of variables, we multiply the exponents first, not the exponents, the coefficients first, and then we multiply the variables. So this would just be 8y cubed. Now, how we got to this from here, a shortcut, or the rule that we're teaching here, is that everything that's inside the parentheses gets raised to that power. So this would be 2 to the cubed, y cubed. And then, as you see, this would be 8y cubed. Okay? Now let's do another problem without writing it out and just do the rule. The rule is when we have a power raised to a power, we multiply them. So we have 3 over ab squared. All of this is raised to the 3rd power. So before we do anything, we're going to rewrite these. We're going to distribute, I use the word distribute, the power to each one of these. So this would be 3 cubed over a cubed, and then b 2 times 3. So we multiply each. Remember that this is understood to be a power of 1 there. So this is 1 times 3, 1 times 3, 2 times 3. So this would be 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27 over a cubed, b to the 6th. And that's how that's simplified there. Okay, let's bump it up a notch and get a little bit harder problem here. 4c to the 6th, d to the 6th, raised to the 4th, c8, d4 over 8, c5d. Okay, this one's a lot harder. We're combining all of our stuff that we've learned so far. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I see this is a power raised to a power, so I'm going to distribute that 4. Do not forget, we always distribute to everything inside that parentheses. So this would be 4 to the 4th, c 6 times 4, d 6 times 4. We're going to distribute over here. We have c 8 times 3, d 4 times 3 over 8 to the 3rd, c 5 times 3, and d 3. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. Let's clean it up a little bit more. 4 to the 4th is 4 times 4 is 16. So 16 times 16, that would be 6 times 6 is 36. 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 1, 6, 15, 256. C 24, D 24. C24, D12, 8 to the 3rd would be 8 times 8 is 64 times 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 48, 49, 50, 51. 512, C15, D3. Okay. All right, so let me put a little squiggly line here. My board's getting a little messed up. So now we need to start simplifying here. We can, remember when you multiply, you just add them together. So we have 256 over 512. C24 plus C24 would be C48. D24 plus D12 would be D. We add the exponents together, would be 36 over C15 D13. So now we have dividing. So when we divide, we subtract. I'm going to take care of this in a minute. 256 over 512. We subtract. 8 minus 5 would be 3. 4 minus 1 would be 3. So C33. And D36 minus D13. 6 minus 3 would be 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the only thing we have left to simplify is this right here. And what can we divide both of those by? I'm assuming some 4s in there. So let's divide by, let me erase this over here. Let's go 8 into 256. Let's see if we can get that. 8 goes into 25 3 times. 24, 16, 2. So that would be 32. And the 512 divided by 8. 8 goes into 51 6 times. That'd be 48 with 32 would be 4. So this could simplify to 32 and 64th, but we can simplify that some more, right? So 32 is divisible by 8. That would be 4, and 64 is divisible by 8. That would be 8. So we could simplify that to 4 over 8, which becomes 1/2 C33 D23. Now that one was a little bit more of a bear there, so hopefully we won't have too many of them, but that was just putting them all together. Okay, we have one more thing to talk about in this section, which is when we have a base raised to the 0 power. That is always equal to 1. If we have a base raised to the 0 power, it's 1. So if I have 3 raised to the 0 power, that's 1. If I have negative 2 raised to the 0 power, what is it that's being raised to the 0 power here? It's not negative 2, but it's just 2. This is saying the opposite of 2 raised to the 0 power. So this is the opposite of 1. All right, so that's the end of 6.1. You know the drill.